This is my formal declaration of my desire to be the next director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Yeah, I want to be the next director of the ATF. First, I can promise that I will not disband the agency. ATF actually does something that needs to be done, legitimately does need to be done. ATF has also gotten off into some sort of, how do I put this, um, intellectual fiction about the nature of their existence. As a result, as I walk into my hearing to be confirmed, I will open with the line: had the founders foreseen the future, they would have written a very different Second Amendment. A well protected public being necessary to the security of a free state, the duty of the people to keep and bear arms shall be enforced. The first purpose of the Second Amendment was to enable the people to meet unlawful force with force. With that in mind, under my directorship, if the ATF wants to change a rule, they will have to prove why they need this rule changed, down to the spelling of every letter. I will reorganize the Bureau to understand the nature of firearms from basically the beginning of World War One forward. That the definition of machine gun is any continuous feed firearm. The definition of assault rifle is detachable magazine fed, burst and or automatic fire capable firearm. And that anything that does not match one of those two definitions, it can be automatic if it's not detachable magazine fed, it's not an assault weapon. It just isn't. You have to stop and reload the gun. An M1 Garand converted to automatic, while it's stupid and silly and serves absolutely no fucking purpose in the universe other than to prove you can do it, it's not an assault weapon. It is not what was intended by the 1934 National Firearms Act. National Firearms Act's intention was to get the Thompson submachine guns off the streets. All right. Really didn't have anything to do with basically anything else. That's not what they wanted. They wanted to get those Thompsons off the streets. And I get it. Thompson, automatic, pistol caliber long arm. All right. I get it. I really do. Flash forward to today. Uh, M16. Burst fire. Burst and or automatic, actually. I have fired a four-stage uh, M16 variant. Uh, they wanted to get those off the streets. Okay, you know what? Actually, I do get it. I understand. That was the intention. Get those actual machine guns and the assault weapons off the streets. Here's something else I can absolutely promise you: the street sweeper will be delisted from all destructive device list. It will be taken off that list because it does not match either the written definition or the intent. Destructive devices were meant to be incendiaries, all right, or horse-drawn carts filled with a ton of hay and straw and set alight and ran into a building. I'm pretty sure nobody can give me a specific example of that happening since the rise of the bombard. Kerry does know what he's talking about, doesn't he? I can say bombard, and I know exactly what I mean. Also, the fact that the Kennan proved to be the better design over the bombard tells you a whole lot more about what I do know and don't know. As I'm sitting in that confirmation hearing, I'm actually going to lecture the members of Congress on the history of the Second Amendment. And no, it was not the revolution. The revolution was a result of the history of the Second Amendment. The foundation of the Second Amendment goes back 20 years before that. That's a hint, hint. Maybe you should pay attention. I will absolutely can sit there for about a half an hour and lecture them on the history of the Second Amendment, the nature of assault weapons, the nature of machine guns. I will even acknowledge the fact that between basically the start of World War I and the start of World War II, the definition of machine gun covered basically everything in that range because they hadn't quite gotten to the point of understanding, oh, this is one kind of gun, this is a different kind of gun. All right. The American Bull Terrier is one type of dog. The Pit Bull is a different type of dog. They both have very common ancestor. Pit Bulls in the 1970s, 60s and 70s. Some were being bred for their aggressive tendencies, and some were being bred for their family safe qualities. They're good dogs. American Terriers are good dogs, and they're not aggressive. They look like pit bulls because they have the same ancestors as pit bulls, but they're not pit bulls. And yet they're still commonly referred to as pit bulls because they look like their cousins. They have the same ancestors, obviously, as their cousins. And so, they must all be pit bulls. No, they're not all pit bulls. Just like the light machine gun is really not like the heavy machine gun. The fixed position gun that could swivel about 180 degrees, cover an entire battlefield with bullets. And then the light machine gun that was light enough that one man could carry it across no man's land in an assault on enemy trenches. Oh, who'd have ever thought? Who could have ever thought of that? Here's a fun fact. Exactly which of the list is the eldest is very debatable. But the show, the Burton light machine gun, and the Russian SVT, I believe it was. One of those three is the first assault weapon. Oh, but no, it's not. The German Luger, artillery Luger, is actually older than all three of them. Fun fact is, the artillery Luger was automatic. As a matter of fact, if I understand correctly, it didn't have a semi-auto mode. It only had the automatic mode. Pause. I'm pretty sure I do misunderstand that. But what I keep seeing is fully automatic, fully automatic, fully automatic. Stop saying fully automatic. All right? It's redundant. You don't need to drop the F word in there. So, to Donald Trump, I'm here, I'm available, and I want to be the next director of the ATF. Thank you. Keep calm and mandatory carry on.